afternoon, everyone. Welcome to West Allis, Wisconsin, the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest continuously operated motorsports facility in the world. Opened in 1905. It was the home for open wheel and 49 years a dirt track. Paved in 1954, and for 60 years, it was the first stop after the Indianapolis 500. In addition to Indy cars, the Milwaukee Mile has hosted Silver Crown midgets, even stock cars, trucks. But tonight, it's the LSI ARCA series on HBR TV, and it's next. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Again, we are at the Milwaukee Mile for the Litchfield Specialty ARCA series. So glad you could join us. Practice is just about wrapped up. 4 minutes left. The 6 of Harger and Dustin Painter. Look at that. The 66 and the 65, top of the board again. Alfie Sharon, though, right with him. 78 Machine, third quick. 41 of Murphy and the 50 of Mark Thomas. That's your top 5 on the time chart. Facility here. Flat 1 mile oval, very challenging. Joining us here tonight on track 2 of Brian Torcha. Brian fresh off a My Cricket Makes Truck Series championship that was decided just a few nights ago. Brian going to continue to try his hand in the ARCA series here at Milwaukee. Practice session complete. We wait to get into qualifying here. Cars already making their way to the track. Dan Murphy Jr. first out. The number 41 machine takes to the facility. Murphy Jr. starting his first time lap. Cars are a handful on this flat 1 mile oval. Turn 2 is going to be a tough place to get around. He crosses the line for his first lap. 30.93 for the number 41. Kerchak's in 31.506. Alfie Charon around 3 and 4, going to take the green flag for his first time lap. Alfie sporting the TRS, the racingschool.net scales on the front of that machine. Racing School out at Thompson Speedway. First lap for Sharon at 31.087. Alfie 6th quick on the board. He can pick it up here on lap number 2. Lap 2 is a 30.85. It is quicker. It's 4th fast, row 2 starting position for the 78 Alfie Sharon. We're on with Dan Butler, the number 18 machine. Out of the throttle. Butler is off at turn number 2. A little bit of a burp in the gas there. First lap was a 30.84, a good time for the 18 machine. That's 4th fast. Row number 2 knocks Alfie back to row number 3 for the 5th position. If Butler can pick it up, lap number 2, he's going to cross the line. 31.16, so not a quicker lap for Butler. First one good enough, puts him in the 2nd row. Josh Battles already some damage on that number 11 machine, not looking good. Not good for it. That's going to about do it here in qualifying. Everybody, for the most part, Kevin Newborn, Cody Fogg, the only 2 entries I see here, not hit the track for qualifying. We'll give them a few more minutes, typically a 10-minute session. So they still have an opportunity to take to the track and throw down a qualifying time, lock themselves in a better starting position than where they're going to be right now at the back of the pack. Running through it right now, it's the 66 of Harger, the 29 of LaJoy, 65 of Dustin Painter, Butler in 4th, Alfie Charon 5th, Murphy 6th, Thomas 7th, truck champion Brian Torcha 8th, Mike Taschereau 9th, Shane Wagner, that's your top 10 so far in the qualifying session. Just over 5 minutes to go. Looks like Carson Conway might be jumping in here as a late add. Carson Conway will be driving the number 72 machine. While we wait for a couple more cars to take some time, let's take a moment to thank the sponsors for this series in this league across 3 different series. First and foremost, of course, Litchfield Specialty, LSI. It is the LSI ARCA series. And a TRS, the RacingSchool.net. And My Cricket Makes custom-made signs and a lot more. Contact Tabitha Brown at 618-340-0900. And for D. Dixon & Sons Trucking Incorporated. And Sudath Taxidermy. Call 636-544-7836. Carson Conway is going to try and make an attempt here at qualifying. No practice for the 72. This might just be an opportunity to get a couple of laps in quick before the race gets underway. Carson real wide into 3 and 4 again. No practice for the 72 machine. First lap for Conway is 14th quick. So far, the second to slowest time on the board for those that did take the time, 32.159, and he's loose off turn 2. That's going to do it for Carson Conway. Back to the throttle just a tick too soon. Around she goes. Did check in at time to do it, though. 14th starting position for the 72 of Conway. Just 2.5 minutes left in the qualifying session. We still have 2 entries, Newborn and Fog, that may or may not running tonight's event. They are in the session, registered, and can turn some laps if need be, but we haven't seen them out in the qualifying as of yet. They do take to the track. That will give us 18 starters for tonight's event. A good field, plenty of action front to back. Ryan Rupert, gonna have to put a bounty on the Harger machine. Just kidding. But are you? Ryan Rose checking in. The late, great Carson Conway. I don't know if he's late. Well, I guess he was late to the session. We've got Jamie Kerr watching. Natalie Bravo, thanks for checking in. Holler Boys Racing watching. Alan DeFries. 7 eyeballs over here on the Facebook side, and about 4, it looks like, on YouTube side. Well, if we're counting eyeballs, I did the math wrong. You know what I'm talking about. We have another late addition here. Looks like Robbie Milburn. That would put us to 19 if they all take a time, or at least make a start here. I don't think it's less than a minute left in the qualifying session. I think it may be too late to get in a good time here for qualifying, but either way, they can still run the race if they so choose. It's official. We'll go to our starting grid here for the Litchfield Specialty ARCA Series. Starting on the pole, it is the 66 once again of Cody Harder. To the outside, it's the 29 of Mike LaJoy. Number 2, Dustin Painter, the number 65 machine. His outside, it's the 18 of Dan Butler, TRS the Racing School. Starting in the third row, Alfie Sharon, the number 78, Sharon Racing. His outside, Dan Murphy Jr. in the 41. Starting 7th, Mark Thomas out of the United Kingdom in the 50. His outside, truck champion Brian Torcha in the familiar number 2. Starting 9th, Mike Taschereau out of New England, the 33 machine. Shane Wagner to his outside in the 6. Ryan Rupert in the familiar number 3 will start 11th. Pete Woodrum, the 304 Motorsports, will start 12th. 13th is Jamie Kerr in the number 75. Flanked by the 72 of Carson Conway with Howler Boys Racing. Ronaldo McKinnon will be 15th. Robbie Milburn listed 16th. 17th and 18th is Josh Battles and Kevin Newton. Rounding out the field, if he does make the start, 58, Cody Fogg. That is your starting lineup for the Litchfield Specialty ARCA Series from the Milwaukee Mile. Field sits poised and positioned to hit the track, get rolling here, and put this race underway momentarily. Here's McKinnon and Fogg. They're here in an admin role or just watching. That leaves us with 17 cars in the field. Not too shabby. Field formed up 2 by 2. Pace car about to peel off.
Green flag.
It's pit lane. Green flag is waving already. Cody Harger, Mike LaJoy, Painter, Butler, Murphy, the top 5 at the start. Stays that way through 1 lap at Milwaukee. 66 down in the low lane. Has the early lead side by side at the second spot. Painter and LaJoy off turn number 2. LaJoy a little loose off turn number 4. Back in the field, the 50 of Mark Thomas to the outside of the 41, Dan Murphy Jr. Also got Butler there on the outside lane, the number 18 machine. A little 4-car battle here. You got the 33 of Mike Taschereau. Ryan Rupert, the 3-car in behind that group. And behind him looks like the 75 of Jamie Kerr. Battling with the 2 of Brian Torcha off turn number 4. This is for the 11th position. Gets around the 2. Doesn't quite have him clear into turn number 1. Might have him on exit here. Catches the apron there. A little bit of a rumble strip, so to speak. That yellow line elevated a little higher than track. Slides on the track. We got a car spin. Caution is out as Jamie Kerr, the number 75, in trouble. Minimal contact, if any, out of the 75. Let's go back, take a look, see what we can see. What happened with the 75 of Kerr. We're under our first caution. A little bit of a tank slapper out of the 75 off turn 2. Locks it down. Does not appear to make contact with the inside safer barrier. Gets her looped back underway. Still brings out our first caution of the afternoon. Couple more comments in the stream chat. Jamie Kerr actually talking here in between qualifying and the start of the race. Haven't been very strong at qualifying this week. Race starting out not very strong either. Lap 6 of 80. He's already facing the wrong direction. Luckily, no damage to that number 75 machine. Got Track Bar Media in here going lots of racing going on in the world of iRacing today. Good luck to all of the drivers. Media probably making mention to the Daytona 24. Big running in that as well. The split that we ended up entering had almost 1,000 entries, like 20 splits. The day for iRacing, definitely on the surface. We said at the outset of the race, Ronaldo McKinnon and Cody Fogg possibly not starting the race, but I see McKinnon is on the racetrack, is only the 58 of Cody Fogg, so 18 cars in the field here this afternoon. There's the 52 of Ronaldo McKinnon. Back up front, field formed up 2 by 2 once again, getting ready to go back underway here from Milwaukee. Cody Harger leads. Painter, Sharon, LaJoy, Murphy Jr., that is the top 5. And Painter listed as the 65. He's running that 00 Aqua Fresh Buckshot Jones paint job. A little confusing for me because I'm slow, but really a cool paint job. Nice to see that once again. Lights are off, top of the pace car. It's getting ready to leave the racing surface. We'll be back underway here from Milwaukee.
Green flag.
Green back in the air, the 66 back in the throttle. Right there, too. Good restart by the 66. Out Jared, though, found his way fighting for the second spot. Slides up the track just a bit in turns 1 and 2. Still battling with the 00 of Dustin Painter. They worked off in turn number 2 down the backstretch. Battle is on for the second position. Really 2 by 2 and multiple rows in behind these guys. Lots of racing action all over the speedway. Alfie gets by, clears Dustin Painter. Second spot goes to the 78. Now to set sail and try and track down the 66 of Harger. Now the battle for third, the 41 of Murphy Jr. trying to go by Painter on the inside. Dustin stuck in that outside lane, not really the preferred groove early on in the race. 9 of Loy is going to try and sneak on through as well. Butler slides up across the nose of the 00. LaJoy still to the inside. Butler changing up lanes, but LaJoy is going to take over the spot, it looks like, from Dustin Painter. Now Painter's got a battle with the 33 of Taschereau, sliding all the way back. Definitely not the lane you want to be in if you're trying to hold position up high, not working out for the 00. Painter gets it tucked down low, crossing in front of the 50 of Mark Thomas. Mark's still keeping the nose down below half a lane. Nothing doing for the 50 of Thomas. Dustin Painter have to regroup here and set sail back towards the front. Just a quick glimpse. It looked like it might have been Shane Wagner went off track. Let's see if we can get a replay of it here. 26 of Wagner. Car at the right side of your frame. Goes in. That was interesting. What happened there? A little bit of a wall magnet. Didn't see him scraping the outside. Fought hard to get it off the wall. Turns it too hard to the left. Almost nails. Might have made contact with that tire pack. 26 slides up the track into the fence. Keeps it going straight. Does not collect anyone else. Unfortunately, Shane Wagner now slipping back to 16th position. Car battle here with Murphy, LaJoie, Taschereau. This is third, fourth, and fifth. Joy underneath the 41, off of turn 4, nothing doing there. They cross the line, it's still single file. Joy dives it in there. Murphy thinks better of it. The 29 of LaJoie might have the spot off of turn number 2. The third spot back to Mike LaJoie. Mike started on the outside front row here this afternoon. Slipped back a little bit. Don't know if it was related to maybe just cold tires. Car didn't have the feel that he wanted, or if it was just being on the outside. Saw the 00 of Dustin Painter kind of get freight trained the same way, getting hung up on the high groove. Not as much grip up top as there is down low. You can even see it. There's almost a darker pavement there, a darker patch, so to speak. It's been repaved. A little more grip on that low lane. Mike LaJoie is looking pretty stout out there. Made that pass on the 41, and he's just slowly starting to reel in the 78 of Alfie Sharon. 16 laps in. Pretty strung out already. Harger working off turn 4, so is Alfie Sharon. 6 crossing the line. Battle going on once again with Dan Murphy Jr. This time it's Mike Taschereau to the inside. Mike LaJoie really hasn't able to get and run away from these two. Maybe Mike Taschereau can put some pressure on the 29. Round he goes, gets by the 41 of Murphy Jr. Move Taschereau to the 4th spot. Mike's up 4 positions since the drop of the green flag. Dustin Painter back in the mix, also trying to take a position away from the 41. And Murphy Jr. For a moment there, it looked like the 41 was going to suffer the same fate as Painter earlier on, getting stuck in that high side. Singled back out off turn number 2. Down the backstretch they go.
Caution's out.
Caution is out.
Everybody on the racetrack will be pissed off at somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
I think Shane Wagner involved again, unfortunately, for the 26. Let's take a look at it. Brian Rupert gets into the outside wall off the corner, and they get collected together. The 26 and the 3. Rupert continues on. Wagner's around back. Collecting each other door to door off turn number 2. Round they go, and Brian Rupert continues on. A little bit of damage, though, on that number 3 machine. Again, contact at the outside safer barrier, then collects the 26 as well. Field has picked up the pace car. Not sure if we're going to see pit stops just yet. 21 laps in. Tire conservation, very important here at Milwaukee, so that these guys might take an opportunity. Field only working with 2 sets of tires over the wall, though, so they're going to have to plan that accordingly. Got the set that they started the race on and 2 more to work with. Might be too early for pit stops. We're going to see. Alfie taking a look. Maybe a fake. Nope. Yeah, fake. 78 Sharon was going to duck down the pit lane and tried to see who he could pull with him, but not a lot of takers, so he decided against it. But he pretty much stays out on the racetrack. Shane Wagner, of course, in for repairs. Brian Rupert apparently the same thing. Appreciate the compliment, Brian. Field 2x2 once again. Lap 22 of 80. Pace car lights off. Maybe? Yep. Thought I saw something, but it must have been a reflection. Either way, we're going back to green flag action. Racing Ford Mustang peels off the track. We're back underway. Cody Harger, another good restart. Benefit of being the leader, gets to fire first. Everybody else has to react to him. Jumped by the 66. Alfie Charon in the second spot, a car length back. Third, Mike LaJoy, Mike Taschereau, Dan Murphy Jr. in the top 5. Single file off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Battle is on for the 3rd and the 4th position. Taschereau putting pressure on the 29 of LaJoy, but Murphy Jr. trying to get by the 33 of Taschereau. Mike takes a defensive low line on entry. Works out for him so far, but will the 41 have the run off turn number 2? Taschereau gets off pretty well. About a car length advantage over the 41. Post green flag. Looks like we've got a couple of issues here. Shane Wagner may have crashed again, as has Evan Newborn. Let's take a look at Wagner first. And this is the replay of the 26 right after the restart. Gets in the throttle a little too soon. The rear end comes around off 2. Doesn't hit anything this time. Drains it out, keeps going. We stay under green. Now to the Kevin Newborn incident, the 51 Pennzoil machine. Looks like off 2 as well. And same thing. Gets a little loose off turn number 2. Back to the throttle a little too soon, and around he goes, or at least a little bit. Unfortunately, in his case, enough to put him into the grass and inside safer barrier. Let's take a look at that one more time. Catches it sideways, and he's in the grass already. Once you're there, there's no saving it after that. Battle once again with Murphy Jr. Now Mark Thomas putting pressure on the 41 machine. Is down the backstretch. Thomas to the inside. Not quite there, but maybe on the entry. Nope. Tucks in behind once again into turn number 3. Murphy defending nicely. The number 41 machine. Mark Thomas in there behind. Half a car length back. Another few car lengths back from the 50s to 75 of Jamie Kerr. Up 5 spots from the start. Again, Jamie had a very minor early incident. Brought out our first caution. Got the car crossed up and around in front of traffic. Was not collected. Didn't hit the wall and kept on going. Jamie, though, back up into the top 10. Getting strung out once again. Carter still leads. About a full second advantage back to the 78 of Alfie Sharon. Third, Mike LaJoy. Taschereau fourth. Painter now back to the top 5 in the 5th position. Painter still trying to hold off the advance from the 41 of Dan Murphy Jr. Far so good. Who've been battling off and on for most of the afternoon. 10 laps shy of halfway. My gut is telling me these guys are going to try to get to the halfway point before worrying about tires. That way they've got a set bolted on, fresh and good to go, but they've also got that extra set for later on in the race. Hopefully being able to take advantage of a late race caution, bolt up some 4 freshies, and go to the front. Battles continue on the racetrack. Mike Taschereau was right there with the 29 of LaJoy. LaJoy had a little bit of a connection issue there. Blinked out for a minute. Taschereau kind of backs off. A wise move for the 33. Don't want to pursue forward and end up landing right where that car reappears. Just a brief blink for the 29. Not too bad. So back to the charge goes the 33 of Taschereau. This is the battle for the 3rd spot, but you see Mike LaJoy also trying to get around the 78 Alfie Sharon. Alfie's running in that 2nd position. It's a pretty good battle up here for these top 4 cars. Taschereau down low. LaJoy slides it up the track. Out of the groove goes the 29. Loses the spot to the 33. Move LaJoy down to the 4th position. Now Dustin Painter trying to take that position away as well. Applying some pressure here. The 00 looking strong, using that low line, hooking the left front on that curve. It's helping that car rotate to the corner. Pretty wise move to figure that out here later on in the run on old tires. Closest battle on the track so far right now, Painter and LaJoy. Painter in the 00, LaJoy the 29. Here he goes, taking a look to the inside off of 2, down the backstretch, going to make the move into turn number 3. Painter side by side, door to door. Joy again slides up into that high lane. Not a lot of grip up there. Painter slides up just a tick on exit, but takes the spot, clears the 29. Murphy Jr., though, is going to try and take advantage as well. Put the 29 back to the outside, take advantage of that low groove. Murphy Jr. with a great run into the corner, right to the back bumper of the 00 of Painter. Michael Joy now slips back to the 6th position. Painter up into the top 5. Right to the back bumper of Painter into turn 3. Oh, the 00 of Painter overdrives it. So does Mike LaJoy. Doesn't hit anything, but LaJoy slides out of the groove, loses some more spots. The 29 machine slips back to the 7th position. Still up front, we had a bit of a battle for a moment there. The 41 of Murphy gets by Painter. Murphy Jr. looking stout out there all of a sudden. Pretty tough all race long, but right now, shot out of a cannon. Time to go. Goodbye. Dustin Painter might have gotten the useful life out of those Goodyear Eagles. Mark Thomas now starting to reel in the 00 as well. Still out front, Cody Harger continues to lead. 1.7 second advantage over second place running Alfie Sharon. Mike Taschereau, Murphy Jr., and Dustin Painter, the 00 we're with right now, still your top 5. Battling back on the inside is Painter into turn number 3. You have the spot. Yep, the 41 of Murphy stuck in that outside lane. Mark Thomas might take advantage and slip by on the inside as well. Little loose, little opposite lock on that number 50 as he gets on to turn number 4. Doesn't make the pass on the 41. Tucks back in behind, but man, Dan Murphy Jr. is just dive bombing turns 1 and 2. Gets right to the back bumper of Painter, but Dustin's able to drive off a 2. Getting a wiggle out of the 50 of Mark Thomas off corner 2. He's trying to get after all he can get. 41 of Murphy Jr. slides up the track again into the dirty stuff. A little slippery. Not able to lock it down. Not able to get back to the throttle. But again, a wiggle out of the 50 of Thomas off turn number 4 again. Momentum, the advantage. The 41 on the outside. But again, stuck in the outside mid-corner. Not able to do a whole lot with the 50 of Thomas. But still battles back to run some momentum down the back straightaway. Still, the battle continues for this position. Mark Thomas in the 5th spot. This is the battle for that position, but meanwhile, the 41 of Murphy Jr. was trying to take it back away from Mark Thomas, but now he's got company in the form of the 29 of Michael Joy. Murphy Jr. recognized it quickly, tucked back in behind the 50 so he could just run that lane. See, LaJoy slips up the high side once again, allowing Dan Butler to get on by.
do to try to help it if we do get another restart?
Dan Murphy Jr. was about to hit the pit lane under green. Just checking up there. The 29 of LaJoy certainly didn't expect it to happen when it did. Gets into the back, sends the 41 around, and Murphy gets collected by the 18 of Butler. Under caution here once again at the Milwaukee Mile. We've got 30 laps to go to settle it. Field still lined up single file, likely to get the one to go this time by. Still under caution here at Milwaukee. Before we go back to green, just want to make mention here, we do have sponsors that thanking, obviously, Litchfield Specialty, LSI, ARCA Series, primary sponsor of this particular series. And thank you to TRS, theracing.school.net. iCricket makes custom-made signs and a lot more. Contact Tabitha Brown at 618-340-0900. D. Dixon and Sons Trucking Incorporated. And Sudaf Taxidermy. Call 636-544-7836. Field 2x2 off of corner number 4. The Mustang iRacing pace car peels off the track. Green back in the air. Good restart again by the 66, but a really good jump for the 33. Mike Tasher only a car length in behind the 66 of Harger. They work into turns 1 and 2. Dustin Painter, though, trying to take advantage. Really the only guy I see really taking advantage of that low lane, that really ultra low lane, flipping the left front tire on that yellow curbing. It seems to be paying off. If you're too aggressive with it, it can kind of screw you up, but it's working out 0-0 of Painter so far. While we have an opportunity back under green here, Cody Harger is your leader. Let's go through the field. Harger started the day from the top spot, continues to lead here, lap 53 of 80. Mike Taschereau, though, putting the pressure on the 66. A car lengthening back. Taschereau up 7 spots since the initial drop of the green flag. Dustin Painter, the 00 Aquafresh machine, runs in the 3rd spot, right where he started this afternoon. Good job after sliding back, getting caught in that outside lane. He's found something here and it's paying off so far. Nicky Kerr, tough qualifying and a tough early stage of the race. He's found himself up in the 4th spot, all the way into the top 5 after having that happen. Helping the chair in the number 78 machine. Very strong here this afternoon, right behind the 66 Harger most of the race. Now, still in the top 5 in the 5th position. 6th position, Brian Torcha out of Hudson, New York, the number 2 machine. He runs, I said, in the 6th spot. He's also your current My Cricket Makes Truck Series champion. This was crowned as last Thursday. And Murphy Jr. putting pressure to the outside, though, trying to get around the 2. And Murphy Jr. has looked really strong here, especially the last 10, 15 laps before that yellow had been slightly pissed off. Mark Thomas in the 8th position also looks strong at the tail end of that tire run. Really good at saving tires at these places. Apparently, the 50 Thomas runs in the 8th position. Dan Butler, the number 18, was involved in the incident with the 41 at Murphy Jr. Clipped in the last seconds. This one he was trying to avoid. Got that machine fixed and still running in the top 10. Josh Battles, the 11, he is running, well, 10th spot. Budweiser, number 11 machine, up 7 spots. Part of the race. It's starting to tail into the field. Run so far by Battles. Pete Woodrum in the number 8 machine out of West Virginia. Pete's running in the 11th position. Started 12th, so far so good. Moving his way forward. Mike LaJoy was right up there in that top 5 battle for quite some time. Finds himself at 12. Was involved in that incident with the 41, trying to get to pit lane. Not sure if he penalized for that contact or if he just got caught out. Either way, he's running in the 12th spot. Not indicative of the afternoon he's been having. Ronaldo McKinnon also started near the back of the field in the 15th spot, running in that number 52 Mellow Yellow machine out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, although running in the 3rd. Carson Conway, the number 72 Country Designs machine, a late addition here to the race, didn't get any practice time in, ran a couple qualifying laps, finds himself in 14th. Evan Newborn, the 51, was involved in an incident early on, running in the 15th spot. Tough afternoon for Shane Wagner. He is, well, he's no longer in the race, or is he parked in the pit lane? Nevertheless, your top 15 as we've gone through the field here. This afternoon at the Milwaukee Mile, Harger does continue to lead, but Mike Taschereau keeping him honest. A car length to a car length and a half. The gap back to the 33 here with 22, almost 21 laps to go. Anybody do anything with the 66 of Harger? Mark Thomas here running in the 8th position, battling with the 2 of Brian Torcha. Jr. just in front of the 2 as well. Butler in behind. This pack kind of grouped up together all by their lonesome. Nobody ahead, nobody behind. Jaron checking out just a bit. Elfie running still in the 5th position. Mark Thomas looking awful racy in behind the 2 of Torcha. Really, the closest battle on the racetrack right now is between these three, the 41, the 2, and the 50. Murphy Jr. in the 6th position, Torcha 7th, Mark Thomas in 8th. Up front, though, looks like the 00 of Painter has gone by the 33 of Mike Taschereau with 17 laps to go. 00 up to P2, trying to reel in the 66 of Harger. Caution is out. It's the 41 of Dan Murphy Jr. Don't know if he had some help here, but a single car incident from this perspective. Let's see what we can find out with the replay. 41 of Dan Murphy Jr. obviously in the outside lane, crosses the line. He's got the 2 of Brian Torcha in behind him. Brian's actually going to move to the inside here. This is a deep move to try and make. Not going to pay off. Contact is going to be made. Diving it in goes Brian Torcha, and the 2 machine. Around goes the 41 of Murphy Jr. 1. Caution is out once again. Minor incident, of course, but driver that number 41 machine is not going to be happy. And here it is with 15 laps to go. We talked about saving that extra set of tires for these late race cautions. But here it is. Everybody's taking that opportunity right now to bolt on some fresh tires, give it another go. A couple guys are gambling though, staying out. Brian Torcha, Dan Butler, Josh Battles, Ronaldo McKinnon. They all pit between lap 45 and 48, as well as Carson Conway. Conway back on the lead lap, it appears, but looks like the 50 of Mark Thomas beat the 66 off of the pit lane. 2 tires stopped for the number 50. Cody Harker's been taken 4. Dustin Painter took 2. Mike Taschereau, maybe fuel only for the 33. A 6.8 second stop for him. Varying strategies once again here at the Milwaukee Mile. On down the field, looks like Dan Murphy Jr. The 41 machine only took 2 as well, involved in that caution. Up front right now, it's our Truck Series champion, 2 machine of Brian Torcha. Second place machine, Dan Butler. 3rd, Battles. 4th, Ronaldo McKinnon. 5th, Mike Taschereau. First car with 4 fresh tires is Cody Harger, the 66. He runs in the 8th position. And Mark Thomas did beat him out of pit lane, but it appears Mark only took 2 tires. 9.7 second stop. Field lined up 2 by 2 again. We've got the 1 to go. We'll get the green flag at the 11 lap to go mark. Brian Torcha hold off the rest of these guys on newer tires. Got a couple of cars in between to worry about as a buffer, so hopefully that pays off for the Brian Torcha. I'm certainly thinking he is hoping so.
Green flag.
Pace cars off, green flag in the air. Brian Torcha, a great restart. And Butler in the 18 in the second position. Ooh, we've got trouble. The 52 is around, collected by the 75 and the 29 of Mike LaJoy. Caution out once again. Trouble on the restart into turn number 1. Saw it happen live. The 52 machine. Aldo McKinnon getting crossed up. Maybe some contact made. Back and take a look. Dustin Painter gets into the back of the 52, spins him in front of a few other cars. The 75 of Kerr, 29 of LaJoy. Puts us under caution once again from Milwaukee. We're going to have a shootout here when this thing goes back to green. Field still working the caution here with 8 laps to go. We're going to step aside for just a short break. We'll stay here live with the action. You won't miss a thing. We'll be back right after this.
Green flag.
Well, we're back already here. 7 laps to go. I guess they moved things up. Either way, Brian Torcha out to a good jump. Battle for the second spot. Josh battles though, and the 18's around.
Should be a caution. Caution's out.
Caution out once again on the speedway. Cautions breed cautions, and that's certainly what's going on right now. 6 laps to go. And Butler involved in this one here. I don't think it was any fault of his own. We're going to take a look at it here, see what happened. Who slides up the track into the 11, and then Painter just drills the back of him, sends him around in front of the field. Painter gets a piece of it. Well, they're doing a nice job to spin that number 18 machine back around. Even better job to keep it out of the field. You spin up there in that top 3 positions in front of the field right after a restart, and he doesn't get collected. That was a thing of beauty, I gotta say. Ryan Torcha still leads, but now Cody Harder in the 66, through that incident up at the front of the field, has found himself in the 2nd position on fresher tires. Ryan Torcha is going to need to make that number 2 real wide when we go back to green. Lined up 2 by 2 again. We're going to get back to green flag action here in just a moment.
Green flag.
Pace car leaves the track. Back underway here. Brian Torcha, a good jump out of the number 2. Harger, the 66 in the 2nd spot. Josh battles to the inside into turn number 1. Caution is out once again.
Did you hear any static?
And Murphy Jr. involved again, the number 41 around. We're going to overtime here at Milwaukee Mile. '41 looked so fast early on in the race. Been a tough going of it since then. Back and take a look what happened to the 41. Ooh, Carson Conway just drives it in deep, collects the left rear of the 41. Spins him out in front of the field. Watch that one from Carson Conway's perspective. This is the in-car camera on the 72. Just drives through the 41. Tough break for Dan Murphy Jr. If it weren't for the incidents, definitely a top 5 car here this afternoon. Round he goes once again. Bring out another caution, but we're going quickie yellow here. We're going back to green, 2 by 2, side by side into turn number 3. Pace car lights off. Hold on to your butts. Going back at it. Still going to run some overtime here. We get green-white checker. Just a moment here, waiting on the iRacing Mustang to leave the racing surface and let these guys go at it again.
Green.
Green's back in the air. Good restart once again by the 2 of Brian Torcha.
Yellow's out.
And we have yet another yellow.
Now, Jersey. Get more acclimated to it, or is it still difficult?
The 11 of Josh Battles is around. Left front damage on the 11 machine. Again, on the restart, contact made with the 66, gets checked up, and Painter just drills the 11 on the front stretch. Unfortunately, not so lucky for the 11, gets collected by a couple other cars before they make it into turn number 1. You see the 11 got into the 66 and checked up. Painter gets right into the back because of that, him checking up there. Wasn't able to get out of the way. Painter wasn't able to go around. Boy catches a piece of that. Jamie Kerr in it again. Just wrong place, wrong time. A lot of the times here this afternoon for the 75. Getting collected in. Not of his doing. 11 of battles. Tough break here on the restart. Had a good run going there at the end. Running top 3. So we'll stack them up once again. Another green-white checker overtime finish in store for you guys watching out there in the streamland. Now with the quickie yellow that we had a couple of attempts ago, that may not have been an official green-white checker. So this may not be our last attempt here. It could be, just depends. Hard to say. I don't get any kind of indication as to whether or not it is a true green-white checker. It just resets the lap counter to 3 to go. But we'll give it a shot here. Got at least one more attempt.
Green flag.
Pace car's in, green flag back out again. Oh, we're wrecking right on the start. Mike Taschereau involved. Big trouble. They wad up the whole field coming to green.
Can you look at those temps real quick, bud?
Well, that settles it. We've got another green-white checkered. I know we had at least 2 burned up already. This is probably going to be our 3rd attempt at the green-white checkered. That was a big one, though. Let's go back and take a look at it. Start with Mike Taschereau here. We'll go slow-mo. Taschereau, the 33 machine, 2nd row inside lane. Pace car peels off. Like Painter tries to go a little early, checks up. Alfie gets into the back of the 00. Nothing for anybody to do there. Painter tried to time it, didn't work out, had to get in the brakes, and then chain reaction after that. Flex to 50. Mark Thomas, Jamie Kerr again, Murphy Jr. again. Butler in battles again. Multiple incidents for these guys here this afternoon. Tough break for sure. That is not what anybody wanted to see. Carnage here at the Milwaukee Mile. Another green-white checker in store. Line them up one more time. I think this may be their third attempt. Big turn of events here at the Milwaukee Mile. Big wreck on the restart. That last attempt at the green-white checker. We still got a few cars involved here. Still going to put on a good show here to the finish. Brian Torcha really going to try hard to hold off the 66. Cody Harger. Dustin Painter finds himself in the third position. Mike LaJoy, Carson Conway cracking the top 5 here this afternoon. Sometimes it's a war of attrition. A really clean race up until this point. There was an incident here or there, nothing too crazy, but and cautions breed cautions, and it's certainly the case here this afternoon. Late in the race, on our third attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Here they come, down the backstretch, lined up side by side, 2 by 2. Lights are off atop the pace car. Through 3 and 4 here, and we'll go back under green to settle it from Milwaukee.
Ready, green flag.
Brian Torch in the throttle, Cody Harger in behind, half the car length back and working to turn number 1. Ooh, a little slip from the 2 of Torch off turn number 2. There's contact made, caution out again.
On the racetrack, we'll be pissed off at somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
Cody Harger has gone on by. I don't know if this is going to settle it or what the deal is. This may end under caution. We're going to have to look and see who had the lead at the time of the yellow. Going final lap. Guys are still in the gas. Pace car is off of turn 2. I think we're going to have a dispute here. We're going to have to go back and take a look at it. Who was the leader at the point of caution? As it sits right now, they work off turns 3 and 4. Brian Torcha is placed at the front of the field. It looks like the newly crowned Truck Series champion is going to win here at Milwaukee. The LSI ARCA Series, the victory belongs to the number 2 of Brian Torcha. Cody Harger, the 66, is second. Painter was third. Mike LaJoy fourth. And Dan Murphy battles back to a top 5 finish. Timing and scoring shows the 2 as the winner. And there it is, Brian Torcha, your race winner here, the LSI ARCA Series at Milwaukee. Brian Torcha victorious, celebrating on the front straightaway. Light those tires up. Whoop. Not going to pass Tech now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step aside, take a short break, and be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Milwaukee Mile. The race is in the books. The LSI ARCA Series put on a show here this afternoon. Brian Torcha bringing home the checkered flag. Cody Harger was second. Dustin Painter was third. A great run here this afternoon. Certainly an entertaining race. 3 green-white checkers at the finish, and that's just how things shook out. We can go to Brian Torcha first. Our race winner. Brian, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Steve. How's it going, man?
Going well. Congratulations on the victory for sure. You were very impressive out there tonight. You slowly worked your way towards the front. won a truck championship on Thursday, and here you are in victory lane in the ARCA race. Tell us about
Uh, Definitely had a little bit of luck on my side today. I got involved in a little bit of incident with Dan Butler earlier. And, I was back like 12th or 13th, and that last caution before the string of them there, I stayed out with a bunch of guys pitted because I figured I would just do the opposite of what they were doing to try and get some track position, and just ended up holding out, luckily. So I thought Cody had got me on that last one there, but I guess the time and line gods were on my side. So
Yeah, watching the race there at the end, I saw Cody was up front, caution was out. I'm like, I don't know if you got the win or if the 66 got the win. I had to wait and find out. Then all of a sudden you go on by and pace car's leading you around to a checkered flag. So you held off the 66 for, I think it was more than 3 restarts. It was 3 green, white, checkered restarts, but you had one in before that. So you had to make it work. You did a good job on old tires, no less. And the 66 had 4 fresh good years and still made it work. So nice job by yourself. Congratulations. Brian, is there anybody you need to thank before we let you get out of here?
just all the sponsors, all the guys in the league, and as always, a special shout out to my sponsor D Dixon and Son for helping me out.
That is your winner, Brian Torcha, the number 2 D Dixon Trucking Incorporated machine. Congratulations, Brian. We'll see you next week.
Awesome, thanks, Steve.
Now on to our second place finisher, Cody Harger. Cody, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Cody, you led most of this thing all day long, and then you got shuffled back with some pit strategy. Thought you had an opportunity there at the end. You unfortunately come up one short. Tell us about your afternoon.
Yeah, man, we were fast all day. It was, kind of business as usual there at the beginning as far as just making laps, not really racing hard. And then their latter part of the stages, some guys figured things out. I mean, Mike was really fast there for a little bit. I wasn't able just sit and ride as much as I could early in the race. I really had to get up on the wheel and to stay out front. And then we had that first yellow there at 15 to go. And, I didn't want to screw myself with 2 tires or no tires or whatever. I just said, I'm going to come take 4. I know I got speed and just see where it shakes out. I think we restarted somewhere around 8th and was able to get up front. Those cautions, I definitely, especially once we got to second place, I did not need all the wrecks every time we go into 1 and 2. I needed it to stay green because Torch, he didn't have any tire. He hadn't take tires, so I was on a solid 20 lap newer tires. So I knew if we could just get some laps in, I could probably pick him off. And then there on that last one, man, coming out, he got loose. I actually got around him, and if you go back and freeze frame it right when the yellow come out, I've got a nose on him, but unfortunately I hadn't crossed a timing line out front yet, so it gave him the win. But hey, good job on him. He made a strategy work and kept it up there. So all in all, fun night. Second place, I can't complain.
Torch kind of said the same thing in his interview. Said that the timing line God smiled on him here this afternoon, and either way, whether it was you or it was him or anybody else, you're certainly going to take the victory any way you can get it, and he's certainly done that. Coming up one short for the 66 of Cody Harger. Either way, a strong run. Not a victory. Second place. Congratulations. Before we let you go, Cody,
I just want to thank the guys here at OG for letting me come and hang out and play, have some fun. I really like these races. So, and thank you all the league sponsors. I believe LSI is the title sponsor of the ARCA deal. Thank you to them, and thank you, Steve, at HBR TV.
Cody Harger, your second place finisher here at the Milwaukee Mile. Go on to Dustin Painter, the third place finisher. The 00/65 Aquafresh colors. Dustin Painter at Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear, Steve.
Dustin, again, good run here tonight. You looked really fast most of the afternoon. I was watching you a lot of different times. You were taking alternate lines compared to the most guys in the field. Using that left front, getting it up on the yellow curve, at least in turns 1 and 2. Is that thing helping it rotate in the corner, or what were you doing?
That is the line I take here in every single vehicle. it can help a ARCA car, and maybe not as much as a modified. Sometimes a modified, I'll put all four down there, but in a in an ARCA car, I'll use it a little bit to help turn the car, yeah, because it can be kind of tight off. But also, it helps me to get a run underneath the guy.
Well, it was a very fun afternoon, certainly watching you try and pick guys off. Couple of incidents late though, where either somebody checked up early or was able to lift, and you made contact. I know there was a big incident on a restart. Tell us about that. It looked like you tried to time it, then had to check up, and I think you got run over by the 78, right?
Yeah, I was trying to, it's hard because you're, bumper to bumper, and I saw the pace car go off, and I thought Torch was going to go right then and there. Realized really quick he wasn't, so I kind of just let out of the throttle just a little bit. And Alfie didn't mean to do that. That wasn't really Alfie. That was more my fault than Alfie. Just trying to, judge a start. As a league, we kind of had a rough go at the end of that race, and just wound up, ruining a lot of guys' days that were having good days in the league.
Yeah, certainly a big wreck on that restart. We said the same thing that you did. There's really nothing Alfie could have done at that point. You tried to time it, it didn't work out. Of course, you have to check up or you're going to run the guy over, but unfortunately, it's a domino effect after that, and the 78 gets it, and then the mess is on from there. Either way, it is what it is. It still eventually worked out decent for you. A top three finish here at Milwaukee. Before we let you go, Dustin, anybody you need to thank?
Just our sponsors that run this league. I know the racing school. We've got a bunch of other sponsors that do a good job of coming on board and stuff like that. Just once again, kind of hate it for Mike. Mike had a good run. Just hate that he got caught up. And Mark Thomas too. Mark had a good run going. Just hate that I made a mistake right there on a restart.
Is what it is. You try and get every inch you can on the speedway, and it doesn't always pan out. But the way it worked out for you again, top three. Congratulations, Dustin. We'll look forward to run here in the future.
All right, thanks, man.
Dustin Painter, your third place finisher here at the Milwaukee Mile. Those sponsors he was talking about, and of course, the TRS, the racingschool.net, and of course, LSI Litchfield Specialty, the primary sponsor of the LSI ARCA series. My Cricket makes custom made signs and a lot more. Call Tabitha Brown at 618-340-0900. D. Dixon and Sons Trucking Incorporated, the primary sponsor on the two of Brian Torcha. And a Sudaf Taxidermy. Call 636-544-786. And that's really going to do it for us here at the Milwaukee Mile. Good race all afternoon. It was clean and green for quite some time. A couple incidents here or there. Nothing too serious by any means. But hey, everything. Oh, there we go. Let's take a look at our race results here for the race. Of course, Brian Torcha, your winner. Second place was Cody Harger. Third, Dustin Painter. Fourth was Mike LaJoy, and Dan Murphy was fifth. Sixth place was Josh Battles. Carson Conway was seventh. Alfie Sharon, after a good run up towards the front most of the afternoon. Ninth was Jamie Kerr, running that number 75 machine. 10th place was Ronaldo McKee. Ronaldo, 5-spot improvement from where he started right near the end of the field. I don't know if he even took a qualifying lap in that session. Good run for the 52. Mike Taschereau, the 33, was 11th. Again, tough break for the 33. Mike Taschereau, trouble on that restart, that big incident later on in the race that caught out a lot of good contending race cars. Taschereau finishes in the 11th spot. Pete Woodrum in the 8th finishes 12th. Dan Butler was 3rd. Mark Thomas in that 50 Kodiak colored machine was 14th. 15th was Kevin Newborn. 16th, Shane Wagner. Brian Rupert, 17th. Robbie Milburn was 18th. Last car in the field. 099. And about do it for us here at Holler Boys Racing TV and from West Allis, Wisconsin at the Milwaukee Mile. The Litchfield Specialty ARCA Series. It's in the books. It's done. It's over. We move on. Join us again next broadcast with HBR TV. In fact, it's going to be the Daytona 24 Part 2. We'll go live here tonight, 10:30 p.m. in the East. Please join us. No broadcaster, because unfortunately I'm in the race car for some of that stint. We're going to call it live the final hour, I'm pretty sure, tomorrow. But for now, 10:30 Eastern tonight, back in the race car along with 4 other drivers here as we contend for a trophy, Daytona International Speedway. And thank you all for joining me in the stream. Thank you all to reached out in the stream chat. Certainly appreciate your participation every race that we put on here at HBR TV. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, facebook.com/OtherBoysRacingTV and on YouTube at Boys Racing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.